Hello, guys. Let's talk a bit about football. Could this injury impact Kentucky's football? Let's analyze, but first, subscribe to get more updates on the Cats. Recent news about Chip Trayanum has brought to light a concerning situation for the Kentucky Wildcats. After his recent return to practice, many hoped he would soon be back on the playing field, a sign of hope for the team's offense. However, the decision to rule him out for the Week 5 game against Ole Miss has left many fans and experts puzzled, especially since he had been cleared to play after recovering from a hand injury sustained in August. The possibility of surgery that could end Trayanum's season, reported by Matt Jones at KSR, is a harsh blow for Kentucky, which relies on Trayanum as a key player to bolster the offense, especially in short yardage situations and the red zone, areas where the team has struggled. Without Trayanum, the team will depend on Demai Sumo-Karngbaye, Jason Patterson, and Jamarian Wilcox to carry the burden for the rest of the regular season. While these three running backs have performed satisfactorily so far, Trayanum's strength and presence in crucial moments are irreplaceable, and his absence will be particularly felt against more physical opponents. Still, there's a glimmer of hope, as pointed out by recruiting coordinator Vince Marrow. In an interview on LAP Sunday Morning Sports Talk, Marrow expressed optimism about Trayanum's return this season, noting that the bye week would provide more time for his recovery. This brings some relief to fans eagerly waiting for good news regarding the player's situation. However, Mark Stoops was more cautious in his statements, confirming that there had been a setback in Trayanum's training, without going into specific details about the severity of the situation. The uncertainty about Trayanum's immediate future raises questions about Kentucky's strategy for the remaining games of the season. With 5 games already played, it's possible that the team might opt for a careful approach, allowing Trayanum to play in some matches, but not risking him to compromise the rest of the season. An important factor to consider is that Trayanum still has a redshirt year available, which would allow him to return in 2025 even if he participates in up to 4 games this season. This flexibility gives Kentucky some leeway, but the final decision will depend on how severe the recent setback was. What is clear is that Kentucky is in a delicate position regarding its offense, and any decision concerning Trayanum will directly impact the team's performance in the remaining games. The Wildcats have already faced significant challenges this season, and the prolonged absence of a player with Trayanum's capabilities and versatility would certainly represent an additional hurdle for Mark Stoops' team. For fans and experts, the only option is to wait for further updates and hope that the recent setback does not mean the end of Trayanum's participation in 2024, keeping alive the hope of seeing him return to the field this season. And the game goes on. And speaking of Nicholas Smith, the reaffirmation of Nicholas Smith's commitment to the Kentucky Wildcats brings significant relief to Coach Mark Stoops and the entire fan base of the program. In an increasingly competitive recruiting landscape, especially with giants like the Alabama Crimson Tide in the mix, retaining a talent like Smith reinforces the upward trajectory of the Lexington team. Smith, a promising defensive lineman from Georgia, made it clear that his loyalty to the Wildcats remains unshakable, even after growing interest from other top programs. The recent offer from Alabama, one of the powerhouse schools in college football, could have been enough to make any recruit reconsider their options, but not for Smith. His decision to stay with Kentucky demonstrates not only confidence in the project Stoops is building, but also the credibility the program has gained in identifying and developing defensive talents. With his evident size, strength, and potential, Smith is seen as a player who can make a difference on Kentucky's defensive line. His impact goes beyond his on-field skills. The fact that he remained committed to the Wildcats, despite tempting offers, reflects the culture that Stoops and his coaching staff have cultivated in Lexington. This loyalty and trust are the foundations that have helped transform Kentucky's program into an increasingly attractive destination for the country's top defensive recruits. I'm sticking with Kentucky, Smith stated on the KSR portal, in a clear demonstration of his trust in Stoops' leadership and the future of the program. This statement resonates deeply with what the coach has been trying to establish in Kentucky, an environment where players not only improve technically, but also feel part of a larger project, a true college football community. The mutual trust between Smith and the coaching staff is a sign that the team is on the right track. The recruiting class of 2025, which Smith is a part of, is shaping up to be one of the strongest under Stoops' command. Adding Smith to the future defensive core of the Wildcats further solidifies the foundations being built. Smith's versatility on the defensive front promises to bring new dynamics to the team's defensive scheme, and his presence is crucial for strengthening Kentucky's front seven in one of college football's most challenging conferences, the SEC. Furthermore, Smith's decision sends a clear message to other high-level defensive recruits. The Kentucky Wildcats are becoming a legitimate destination for elite talents seeking development and success within the SEC. Smith's reaffirmation is more than a single recruitment victory. It's a symbol of the growing respect and reputation that Mark Stoops and his staff have earned. Kentucky is no longer just a contender, but a place where players can thrive and prepare to compete at the highest levels of the sport. For Stoops and his assistants, keeping a talent like Nicholas Smith is a significant step in the right direction, reflecting the hard work that has been done behind the scenes to make Kentucky a respected name on and off the field. Let's move forward. Rick Pitino's presence at the upcoming Kentucky Wildcats Vanderbilt Commodores game is a symbolic moment for the Bluegrass, and an opportunity for fans to reminisce about a golden era of Kentucky basketball. Pitino, who will be in the stadium on Saturday, made the announcement with a hint of humor, joking that he would be helping Mark Stoops on the sidelines. Despite the lighthearted tone, Pitino's return to Lexington carries a lot of significance, especially given his past with the program. Pitino's history with the Kentucky Wildcats is iconic. In the 1990s, he was responsible for revitalizing the basketball team, taking the Wildcats back to the top of college basketball. Under his leadership, Kentucky re-emerged as a national powerhouse, winning the 1996 title and creating a legacy that still resonates in Lexington. His departure to the NBA was a pivotal moment in his career, but also a turning point for Kentucky, which continued to thrive, and for him, who would eventually return to college basketball, this time as the coach of Kentucky's biggest rival, the Louisville Cardinals. This time at Louisville's helm created considerable tension between Pitino and Big Blue Nation. Coaching Kentucky's biggest rival was a huge blow to the fans who revered him, and over time, that relationship deteriorated. The rivalry between Kentucky and Louisville has always been intense, and Pitino's presence on the other side of the divide only heightened the animosity. However, time has a healing power, and since his acrimonious departure from Louisville, which was left in ruins after his passing, Pitino has slowly regained the respect of Kentucky's fans. Pitino's relationship with Big Blue Nation appears to be on the mend. The arrival of Mark Pope as Kentucky's basketball coach, himself a former Pitino coach, has certainly helped to smooth over the tensions. Pope has played a key role in restoring Pitino's connection to the Kentucky program, and Pitino's own decision to donate to Kentucky football is a clear sign that his affection for the school has never completely faded. For many, seeing him support the football team and return to Lexington is a symbol that the wounds of the past are healing. Pitino's visit to the Vanderbilt game is more than just an appearance. It's a statement that Kentucky still holds a special place in his heart. Regardless of the ups and downs that have marked his time in the Bluegrass, Pitino continues to be an important figure in the history of Kentucky sports. His presence at Saturday's football game not only celebrates the legacy he helped build, but also signals a new phase of mutual respect and appreciation between him and the fans. For Mark Stoops and the Wildcats, having a legend like Pitino supporting them from the sidelines is undoubtedly a morale boost. Even if he jokes about helping Stoops, The presence of such an iconic figure brings a special energy to any sporting event. Pitino, now the head coach at St. John's, may be in a new phase of his career, but his return to Lexington serves as a reminder that the history and connections he created with the Kentucky Wildcats live on. For fans, it's a time to celebrate both the past and the present, with Pitino back in the place where his impact on college sports began to blossom. It's the kind of moment that transcends rivalries, an example of how time can bring reconciliation and appreciation for legacy. And for Kentucky fans, seeing Pitino on the sideline Saturday will undoubtedly be a source of pride and nostalgia. What about basketball? During Kentucky basketball's 2024 Media Day at the legendary Memorial Coliseum, head coach Mark Pope was full of praise for young forward Trent Noah, highlighting both his skills on the court and his character off it. Noah, a Harlan County native, is the first UK men's player to come from the area since Dickie Parsons, who played in the 1950s and early 1960s. That connection to Eastern Kentucky holds special meaning for Noah, and Pope made sure to emphasize the impact he can have not only as an athlete, but as a symbol for the region. Trent Noah, like any other freshman, is in the process of adjusting to the intensity of college basketball, and he acknowledged the differences he has faced in Lexington. The speed of the game, the size and athleticism of the opponents are challenges, but Noah has risen to the occasion. It's completely different, Noah said. The speed of the game, the size, the strength, the athleticism, it's all different, but I feel like I'm doing a really good job. My players always build me up and give me confidence, and so do my coaches. That trust and support have been key to his transition, and his commitment has already been noticed. Mark Pope, a coach who values both the technical and personal development of his players, has singled out Noah's ability to adapt quickly to the pace and coaching needs of the college game. But what impresses Pope most is how Noah's upbringing in Eastern Kentucky translates into his attitude and work ethic. I don't know Eastern Kentucky like people who grew up in Eastern Kentucky, Pope said. I don't know it like they do, but if you had a guy who represented the eastern half of this state in a brilliant way, Trent Noah is really special in that way. Pope's words not only praise Noah's abilities as a player, but also acknowledge the importance of his background. For a program like Kentucky basketball, with a rich history and tradition of excellence, representing your home region carries emotional and symbolic weight. Noah, as one of the few to emerge from Harlan County, is not only playing for himself and the team, but also for everyone who has supported him from the beginning, especially those in his community. The season ahead brings many challenges, as is to be expected for any freshman, but with the support of a coach like Mark Pope and the confidence his teammates have in him, Trent Noah is in a unique position to make a positive impact both on and off the court. He is not only an example of talent and skill, but also a symbol of perseverance for those who have followed him since his first basketball steps in Eastern Kentucky. And if Pope has anything to do with it, Noah is just beginning to show how bright his future with the Wildcats can be. What do you think? Let us know in the comments.